Hey guys, Brad coming at you here with a little contest video for Chlohans1973. He wants to know your top 10 running backs of all time. Now, I am going to do this post 1986 because I cannot honestly sit here and pound the table saying some guy is better than another when you couldn't watch him play. I can't tell you O.J. Simpson, Jim Brown, Tony Dorsett, Franco Harris is better than the guys I'm going to list when I couldn't watch them play. I don't know how you can really do that. So I can't do it. There's only one old running back that I've actually seen games of, and that's Walter Payton, because my dad used to record all the playoff games and everything. And trust me, he would be near the top of that list. But everyone else, what am I supposed to go off? Stats? Stats don't say it all, trust me. You know? So it's like, I have a hard time making a top 10 list with guys I've never seen play. I can't do it. So I'm going to do this post 1986. So they would had to have been drafted after 1986. Because I can at least give a valid opinion using both stats and the eye test. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do here. If that disqualifies me, oh well, I'm doing it anyways. So number 10, guy no one ever mentions, Ricky Watters. Played with like the Eagles, 49ers, Seahawks. Just a good, solid running back. I think he had 6 straight years he had over 1,000 yards. He could catch the ball out of the backfield, block. He didn't have to come off the field. You're going to find, especially at the very top of this list, guys who can do it all. I'm not talking, oh, I can hand you off, but you can't do anything else. So Ricky Watters, not flashy, but if he was on your team, you remember Ricky Watters, and you're like, man, he was just solid. So he's number 10. Again, this was post-1986. Number 9, another guy, unless you're a fan of this team, seems to be forgotten about and not mentioned. Edgerrin James for the Colts, and he played a little bit with the Cardinals, which a lot of people seem to remember, especially the younger folks. Edgerrin James, master at the stretch play. Oh, man, the stretch run, he mastered that thing to a T. Timed it up perfectly. Say Peyton Manning all you want, but I'm telling you, they never found a back that could do a stretch play like Edgerrin James could. You know, just he had a good combination of size, power, and like the sneaky speed. As soon as you're like, oh, you kind of slow, boom, run past you. Edgerrin James, guy who gets no respect. Number 8, this guy gets a lot of respect because he's a physical freak. And that's Adrian Peterson. Now, he's only number 8 on this list because I'm not impressed with receiving or blocking, therefore he's stuck at number 8. And he hasn't had a full-fledged career. But I don't really need, I mean, everybody here has seen AP. I don't really need to go on why he's number 8 on the list. Number 7, Jerome Bettis. Now, hold on. You're thinking, Jerome Bettis was just like the fat 3-yard guy. Because everyone remembers from like the time the Steelers won the Super Bowl in like 2005. That wasn't Jerome Bettis, folks. He wasn't a, oh, come in on 3rd and 1 guy. Back when he started with the Rams, I'm telling you, this is the most athletic fat guy you have ever seen. He actually ran by people, okay? Believe it or not. That is the thing. He was a monster, but he actually had some speed in his early years. But just model of consistency. So now the reason why he's not higher on this list is because, again, just a runner. Not really a receiver, not a blocker, therefore he's at number 7. But love the bus, and again, people don't think he was a 2-3 yard and cloud of dust kind of guy. You know, in his younger days, beginning of the Steelers and with the Rams, legit running back, folks. Number 6. To me, another guy didn't get mentioned very much. Thurman Thomas. Unfortunately, I know Thurman Thomas very well. Because he always beat the crap out of my Dolphins. But then again, who didn't? But Thurman Thomas. Now, this is a guy who could do it all, too. Didn't matter if it was 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 12. He was out on the field, and he could catch the ball. He could run the ball, block, everything. Thurman Thomas. Now, he wasn't flashy, and I think that's why he doesn't get respect. He wasn't a flashy guy. And he actually played for the Dolphins his final year. A lot of people forget that. It's forgettable. But on those great Bills teams, even Jim Kelly says, best player he played with, Thurman Thomas. Number 5. Now we're getting into the list where even if I counted the old guys, I think these guys still would crack it. Okay? So those 5 guys I just mentioned there, if we added the old players, they probably wouldn't get in. But these guys would, I think. Number 5, Curtis Martin. That's right, Curtis Martin. Another guy, not flashy, but you want to talk about, I think, one of the most dependable backs in my lifetime. Curtis Martin. Jets, Pats. What more can you say about Curtis Martin? Had 100 touchdowns total, both rushing and receiving. Multiple 1,000-yard seasons, even good late in his career. He was just model of consistency. So Curtis Martin, number 5. Now, number 4. Is there like, you have this guy at number 4, and you're even doing a post-1986? Barry Sanders, number 4. Okay? And now, before I go on this tangent here, I have a guy at work, Barry Sanders lover, right? And he actually asked me this question just a few weeks ago to host. When he goes, he knows I'm a pretty good football guy, and he respects my opinion. He's like, what do you think Barry Sanders? You think he was better than Walter Payton, or you think he's the best of all time? I said, well, what are you talking about? I was like, are you talking about the position of running back, or are you just talking about as a runner? I was like, it's just a pure runner, hand the ball off and do nothing else. You could argue he's the best running back ever. When he goes, well, that's what a running back does. I was like, okay. So I cross-sport with him here. I was like, do you agree in basketball that Michael Jordan is the best shooting guard ever? And he goes, well, of course. Well, I said, well, based on your logic, Reggie Miller is the best shooting guard ever because he was the best shooter. That's stupid. So why do we do it with running back? It's the whole package, folks. Not just, oh, I could hand the ball off to you. And another thing about Barry, most electrifying runner I've ever seen. Do not get me wrong. He would be like, whoa, what did he just do? But guess what? He would also be you just had a 4-yard run and you made it -2. It's the facts, folks. Now, and again, sometimes he made -2s into 40s. But to me, just not consistent enough play-by-play. And when it was 3rd and 12 and passing downs, nowhere to really be found. Wasn't great in short yardage. So, why he's the most electrifying player ever, running back, you could argue, in my lifetime, number 4. Because of those downfalls, that's all he did. And consistency play-by-play was not there. And that goes into number 3. Now, you could argue, other than Curtis Martin, this guy was the most consistent ever with longevity, and that's Emmit Smith. Now, I know you're going to be like, well, Emmit Smith had a great offensive line. Absolutely. But Emmit Smith also had the best vision of any running back I have ever seen. How often do you watch your running back on your current team run into a hole too fast, or be like, oh, if you'd have just cut that to the right, you'd have had 10 yards. How often do you see that on tape? When you watch Emmitt Smith, you rarely ever see that. You're like, oh, man, that offensive line was awesome. Well, guess what he did? He had to wait for his block. He had the best timing with his linemen and the best vision I've ever seen. And that's what made Emmitt Smith great. Now, again, he was not a great receiver either. Blocking was mediocre. But again, model of consistency, and he had 175 touchdowns combined, rushing and receiving. What's the name of the game? Get in the end zone. That guy did it. So he's at number 3. Now, number 2. The guy I'm doing the videos for, boy, LaDainian Tomlinson. Now you go, well, how in the heck does this guy have LaDainian Tomlinson ahead of Emmit Smith and Barry Sanders? Well, I'll tell you. Number 1, he was the second, I would say, probably second best receiver out of the backfield post-1986. Number 2, he could block. And number 3, the guy had a nose for the end zone. Okay? And also, he is the only guy I could see who could, like, do a jump cut and not slow down. He's the only guy I've ever seen do it, man. He could just be running up, do that, not even slow down. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Go watch some film of LT do his little cuts. Oh, it's the most amazing thing you'll ever see. And, again, didn't matter if it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 13, you're up 10, down 10. He's in the game every down, barring, just needing a rest. There's no, I have to take you out in this situation. Oh, there's a better guy for it in this situation. There was no better guy. 162 total touchdowns, and he didn't play that long either. He's a guy who didn't really hang around too long. He played 2 years with the Jets, you could argue. But LaDainian Tomlinson, number 2. Number 1. I don't know. I think more highly of this guy than anyone else does. And I don't know what it is, but this is a guy, especially with the eye test, best all-purpose, all-around running back I have ever seen. And that is Marshall Faulk. That's right, Marshall. Started with the Colts. People forget he had a great season with the Colts, too. Went to the Rams. Everybody's like, oh, Kurt Warner came in. Kurt Warner will tell you, that was all because of Marshall Faulk. All right. Best all-purpose back I ever seen. You want to talk about, you literally could put him in the slot, and he could have been a slot receiver. But the thing is, you also handed off to him in short yardage, long yardage. Great runner, too. But he literally could have been a slot wide receiver in the NFL. See, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people would be like, oh, this guy caught 40 passes. Yeah, 35 of them were designed screen passes behind the line of scrimmage. That's not receiving. Marshall Faulk would actually go out and run an 8 to 15 yard pattern. And there was nothing anybody could do. If put a safety corner and he'd get open. Go watch it. I'm telling you. Marshall Faulk, not only could he run the heck out of the ball, scored 136 total touchdowns. Just, oh my gosh. He was electrifying too. To me, does not get the respect deserved. I don't know how he's not on a top 10 list. I really don't. Even if you're counting old players, I just really don't. Marshall Faulk, number 1, post-1986. I can't believe I just took almost 14 minutes. I apologize. But that's my list. Comment down below and tell me I'm an idiot. But again, I factored in everything. Now, sometimes the people's running obviously would push them up a little bit because it was so much better. But top 2 guys, they could do it all, and that's what I like in a running back. Bye-bye now. Love you all. Maybe I'll have some mail tomorrow. I don't know. Bye-bye.